Hi everybody, welcome back, or hello if you're new, I'm Feb, and today I'm going to be doing something completely different. One of the aesthetics that I really enjoy, I like to look at, I find fascinating, I like to see how they're made, is steampunk. And I don't have very many steampunk things, so I thought it would be fun to see what we could do. And rather than starting off with something, ordinary like a box, which is what I probably will do in the future, I thought that I would try and do something just a little bit different. So, this book, it's covered in wallpaper. It's one of my mother's books. I received all her books when she died. This is one that she read to me when I was small. And as you can see, in the 60s, apparently it was very fab and groovy to cover your books in wallpaper. So, wow. And this is, oh, it's vinyl as well. It's actually quite horrible to touch. And she did a pretty good job, I have to say. Um, you know, if you like that kind of thing. So I thought that today I would try and turn that into something, a bit more aesthetically pleasing. Happily, she only did this to about 3 or 4 of her books. So yeah, if this comes out successfully, then I might try and do something similar with the other ones, just because, they are ugly and they look horrible on the shelf. All right then, let me show you what I've gathered together to try this project. Okay, here we are. So I've got a palette with a bunch of black and brown paints. Haven't quite decided. I was going to go black, but then I thought, oh, that's going to just be very dark and gloomy, and I'd like a little bit more, make it look kind of like it's got a leather background. So I've picked out some browns, paintbrushes of various kinds, metallic pens, because you never know, I might need them, may not. This is a little box of gadgets. There are all sorts in here, dragons, cogs, just little metal things that may come in handy. I've got some rub and buff, which is it's a silver pewter type of colour. In fact, it's silver leaf. And then sandpaper to sand down the book. Some black lace, which is left over from another project. That actually I just made a skirt and it was too short, so I added some a modesty panel on the bottom. And then this little mold set, which came from Amazon, I'll leave you the link for it. And this has, I mean, it was only a tenner, and look at the amount of cogs and gears and bolts and stuff you can make with these. So these are actually, I don't know how well they're going to come out because these are for cake decorations. But we'll give it a go, see what happens. I think the larger ones might be more successful. And that is just a beautiful thing, isn't it? That compass. So yeah, those are what I'm intending to use. With this stuff, Plaster de Paris, which I haven't used since I was small, This was an infant school thing that we did, I remember. So that's what I'm going to use in these. Hopefully, we'll see how we go with that. And yeah, I think just some various different glues, we should be okay. We'll see. All right then, let's get started. Okay, so you might be wondering why I haven't bothered to take off the wallpaper, and I think that it's just going to cause so much damage if I even try. I think she's glued it down literally with wallpaper paste. I don't think it's a peel and stick. And it's reinforced with sellotape as well. So, oh my God, I'm going to have to just leave it in place. And actually, I don't mind it. I think it's going to make a good base. All right, so to start with, I need my sandpaper block. And this is just, I don't know, any old sandpaper will do. I just literally want to give the paint something to cling to. If I had any, I would use black chalk paint for this or brown chalk paint, but I don't. So I'm using acrylic, which is all I have at the moment. Okay, so that's just roughed it up a tiny bit. Now to start painting. Okay, so I've mainly chosen browns. I've just added a little bit of black at the side. These are various browns that I just happen to have. They're pretty much the only ones I've got left, so I've got to make it work. Could do with a little bit more black, I think. This lamp black is actually quite fierce. It's a really strong black. Okay, I'm going to start with the edges first, along here, just so that I can make sure that when the book is standing or displayed or whatever I'm going to do with it, you don't see these parts here. So I'll do those first and let it dry and then go on to the main book. I'm being reasonably careful about it because I've literally just got a new mouse mat, so I didn't want to mess this one up like I did my old one. Okay, so I've done the top and the sides so that now when it's standing up, you just see the dark and you won't see the, oh, I've got it all over me already. Should have worn gloves. You won't see the nasty yellow wallpaper. Okay, on to the rest of it. Okay, well that looks better already. I've got a fan on right next to it just to dry it off a little bit quicker. And I mean, wow, you could actually just let that dry and then put it on your shelf. Use a little bit of a rub-on transfer for a title or a sticker or something. Or, you know, you don't even have to do all this. For example, I have this book of vintage steampunk scrap paper, and inside it there are all sorts of patterns and they are lovely. You could use any of these and just, you know, do a bit of decoupage or whatever. I mean, for example, with my eyeshadow palettes, which I have in this room, I didn't like the look of them at all, so I tried to make them look like books. So, for example, I mean, this is a BH Cosmetics old eyeshadow palette, and I used a Daily Profit. I used a rub-on transfer, a Wiseacres wizarding equipment sign, and then, you know, just basically made it look like a book. And I've done that with a whole shelf of eyeshadow palettes so that, you know, they're not the ugly things that they otherwise would be. Okay, I'm going to put this to one side now, let it dry, and then we'll get on with the next part. All right, so moving on to the next part of this, I've got my plaster of Paris here, and this is my measuring jug. It's just a tiny little thing. You could use whatever, as long as you get two parts of plaster to 1 part of water. And these are just two hair dyeing doodads that I happen to have. Believe it or not, I'm not a natural blonde. Okay, so here are the doodads, and I'm going to mix this up and then start pouring. Apparently the trick is to add the plaster to the water. Not being an expert on these things, I will get a stirring stick, Old Faithful, and start. Okay, that is so much better. So now, rather than pouring this in, I feel like it might be a better idea. I don't know if this is going to settle to the bottom or not. Let's see. Let's give it a go. Okay, so for these tiny little ones that I'm honestly not even convinced are going to work, but we'll give it a go. I'm just going to use a dropper to fill these in, because I feel like trying to pour anything is just going to make the most terrible mess. And this just came off of some beauty product that I bought. And I'm just pressing it in and hoping for the best. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me whether all of these little ones work or not, because I've already got those little cogs. Okay, the plaster is already drying, so I'm just going to leave that and for however long it takes, I'm not sure. Clean up, and obviously I've over poured in some places, so I'm going to have to sand down. But yeah, I think for now that'll do. And just before it's very dry, I'm just going to use a lolly stick just to scrape off the worst of the excess. It's not too bad. Okay, I wandered off and did a few other things for a few hours, so it's been about 3 hours. Time for the moment of truth, and I've got such a bad feeling about this. Um, okay, let's just do it. As a backup, I've got some air drying clay, just in case this is as bad as I fear that it's going to be. I think it's dry as it's going to get. These are very thin layers. Okay, all right, well, although, I don't know, that still looks a bit damp, that one. Let's just see what happens. Oh my god, it's stuck as. Oh my god, cat fur. Don't look. All right. I want to do this really gently because I'm afraid that they're just going to break. Hey, that one's looking good. All right. And that one. I've got some trimming to do. Wow, these little ones have come out really well. I was not expecting that. Okay. Oh, boo. Oh no, that was meant to be like that. Okay, it's kind of like a bit like a broken cog. Oh yeah, she's got some trimming to do, all right. But hey, oh, that one's broken. Nice. Oh, that one's totally knackered. Oh dear. So's this one. Oh, what a pity. Broken bits. And that. Okay, well, I think we might get one more. Yay. Hey, that's okay, that. That's more than I expected and not as bad as I expected. That's good. I'm not even going to attempt to get that one out. Okay, onto the larger ones. I really feel, oh, see, look, that's so broken. It's got a big crack along it. I feel like I should have done this with air drying clay right from the start rather than plaster of Paris. I feel like I've done myself dirty here. Yay. Ooh, that's a nice big one. Oh, oh no. Okay, let's try this one. Got to remind myself that it's not the end of the world. I'm only doing one cover. I'm not doing the back as well. Pretty good. Oh, that one's in 3 pieces. 4 pieces. Which I could possibly glue back together again if I feel like I need another one. Oh, merde. Okay, so I've got a gap right there. Why? Why did that happen? Okay, well, I reckon I can do something about that and build that up a little bit. For some reason, just here, maybe the thingy isn't actually as level as I hoped it might be. Or, you know, rather than blame my tools, maybe it's just my poor craftsmanship. All right then, I think I've got enough. I'm now going to clean them all off, i.e. get rid of all these little extra bits around the edges. And then I'm going to paint them. And to do that, initially, I'm just going to paint them with some silver acrylic paint. And then once I've done that, I'm going to use some of that rub and buff. Okay. We're now at the stage of decorating this book, and I've already just had a go just setting things out. I'm going to start with the lace, and I'm going to put that at the bottom of the book and then carry it on around the spine. And then I'm going to arrange a mixture of the things that I've made with a plaster of Paris and some cogs and things that I have, these beautiful keys and these corner pieces, but I'm going to rub those with some silver rub and buff. So I'm just taking the tiniest bit on a tissue and making sure it's the right way around. Wow, what a difference. Oh, that really stands out. Just going to put a thin layer on, put it down, do the second corner, and then I will rub it off. Wow, that is super nice. And this rub and buff comes in all sorts of different golds and pewter, fabulous stuff, and a little goes a really long way. Okay, that'll do. As you can see, I've picked a right mixture of bronze, gold, rose gold, all the colours. And now just, wow, I like this silver even more than I like the bronze for these. That is so nice. And when you rub it off, you're just left with this kind of, oh, I don't know how to describe it. Beautiful colour anyway. All right then, let's get the glue. And for the lace, I'm just going to use this Pritt glue. It's just an all-purpose glue. I've run out of bus stick. So this is getting used for everything right now. So I'm just going to arrange it along the bottom here and glue it down. Oh, that's pretty. And then because I'm not decorating the back of the book entirely, I'm just going to carry this lace around. Oh, it doesn't want to stick. Might have to revisit the glue situation or let it dry and then turn it over. Okay, I'm just adding a bit more glue on the top just to make sure that it adheres properly and doesn't decide to give up the ghost and fall off at a later stage. Okay, I'm going to let that dry properly and then I'll turn the book around and carry on around. Okay, whilst that's drying, I'm just going to arrange some of these items on the front of the book, and I'm going to attach this with some Mod Podge. Okay, they're down, so now I'm just going to arrange a few items around and about this central compass. That's nice. And then just glue them down as I go. All right, that's good enough for the front. I've put in their naked state, in their naked bronze state, I've put a couple more corners down here. And then on the spine, just using a bit of hemp, I've attached a little dragon. So he'll sit down here when he's in the right place. He's kind of gone to the corner a bit. Need to move him along a little. There we go, that's better. I might use a little glue drop just to keep that in place. And then I'm going to continue with the lace around and then just put a couple of items on the spine here. Not very much because it's really, you know, it's pretty good as is, I think. I don't think it needs much more elaboration. And again, I'm going to use the Yoo-hoo. And then when I've finished with the decorating, I'm going to attach, oh no, I'm not going to attach anything. I'm going to put a coat of varnish on because I feel like that will protect the paint on not only the book but also on the items that I've painted. And look how much I've got left over. I've got so much left over, which is great because I have got a plain box coming and I will use those decorations on that. Okay, I'll just glue this down and then we're almost done. All right, so here we are with the before and after. This is obviously a different book, but yeah, same fab and groovy paper. And then my rather darker and more, I don't know, whatever you like to call it, my aesthetic anyway. So here it is, steampunked, and I feel like this is going to look super nice, perhaps on a little plate rack so that it's on display and you see it fully. It's certainly not going to be put into a bookshelf, it's going to be facing forward so that you can see it. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do let me know what you think about it down in the comments, and I will see you soon for the next one. Take care and stay safe, everybody.